We tried to warn people about Project 2025 and what a Trump administration would mean for our families and our rights. And so many people were acting like we were being, Chicken Little, the sky is falling, saying, nuh-uh, Trump said he's not anywhere near this, nuh-uh. Well, here we go. The group behind Project 2025 wants a Manhattan Project for more babies. A draft position paper from the Heritage Foundation proposes massive revisions to U.S. economic policy to encourage heterosexual married couples to have more children. Let's look at this article. The conservative group behind the Project 2025 governing playbook for Trump's second term is set to propose sweeping revisions to U.S. economic policy meant to encourage married heterosexual couples to have more children. The Heritage Foundation, a right-wing think tank headquartered in a stone's throw from the U.S. Capitol, wants lawmakers to create new government-seeded savings accounts for married people only, in hopes to steer funding for childcare away from programs like Head Start and toward individual families, specifically to encourage parents to stay home and rear children. And the group wants Trump to issue executive orders requiring all proposed policies and regulations to measure their positive and negative impacts on marriage and family, then overhaul or end programs that score poorly. Those ideas are part of a 5-page executive summary of a forthcoming Heritage position paper titled, "We Must Save the American Family." It calls for a Manhattan Project to restore the nuclear family and induce couples to have more babies. A copy of the summary was obtained by the Washington Post. The paper represents a pivot for Heritage away from its tradition of small government and free market conservatism toward an ideology that embraces government intervention in affairs as private as procreation. For family policy to succeed, old orthodoxies must be re-examined and innovative approaches embraced. But more than that, we need to mobilize a nation to meet this moment, states the paper, which was sent to Heritage policy experts by the group's domestic policy VP, Roger Severino. Republicans in recent years have waded into the pro-natalist movement, an ideology that some interpret to mean creating more family-friendly policies broadly, and that others see grounded in their perception that the United States and the planet at large must produce more children to avert societal collapse. Heritage President Kevin Roberts has made the institution's pro-natalist shift a key part of his vision, hoping in part to hew closer to an ascendant wing of the GOP. 4 people familiar with the think tank's plan told the Post. VP Just Dance Vance, in his first public speech in office, declared, "I want more babies in the United States of America." Many pro-natalist leaders view Vance as the GOP's most important cheerleader of their movement. And that's the reason why we are speaking on this, because Donald Trump is like 87% out of here already. So we already knew that this was going to be bad, especially with Peter Thiel really running the show in the background. This is not going to be good for us as Americans. The way popular culture has developed in recent decades, they de-emphasize the family. They de-emphasize the merit of marriage, strong, steady, stable marriages between one man and one woman that produce children. This is part of the uphill climb that we have in working against the culture, but we'll continue to do that, and public policy should reflect it. House Speaker Mike Johnson, Republican from Louisiana, said on Fox in April. So we are headed towards a theocracy. Many of us spoke about that. People are really trying to push us into this, whether we want to or not. Here they go, talking about Peter Thiel. Tech entrepreneurs Peter Thiel and Elon Musk, both prolific GOP donors, have also embraced pro-natalism. Musk is the father of 11. It says 11, but this dude has way more kids than 11, and has reportedly recruited potential mothers on his X social media site. He was known to bring his young son, X, who we were also calling Little Kevlar, to the White House events when he helmed the Trump administration's cost-cutting U.S. Doge service. Heritage paper rejects what it calls extraordinary technical solutions, including subsidies for egg freezing, in vitro fertilization, surrogacy, and genetic screening, deriding them as a form of pro-natalism that envisions a world of artificial wombs and custom lab-created babies on demand. That might touch some people because people have had to use IVF for personal reasons or frozen their eggs simply because they needed to delay, having babies for whatever reason. This, I don't know. I don't know what's going to say that's going to stop this mess, but this is where we are. Instead, it suggests the answer to the problem of loneliness and demographic decline must begin with marriage and blames free love, corn, careerism, the pill, termination, same-sex relations, and no-fault divorce as culprits behind the decline of American marriages. In 2024, fewer than 50% of U.S. households include a married couple, according to U.S. Census data. In 1949, nearly 4 in 5 households were headed by a married couple. So what it says right here, they want to go back to a time where women had to depend on a man for money. So when they talk about careerism and the pill and women having the opportunity to control their own bodies, they're saying that they need to pull it back. Now they're talking about same-sex relations. They want to make sure that they eradicate the gay folks. No-fault divorce. They need to make sure that women don't have the opportunity to escape marriage. They want marriage to be slavery. Here is the graph that talks about the U.S. marriage rate. So over here, 1940, look right here. It goes up to about close to 80% in 1950 and has been dropping ever since. A lot of people are just opting out, especially as more and more women got the right and didn't have to depend on a man. So what this tells me, and I know that this is what feminists talk about, as more women have options, it pulls women out of that oppression. And these people need to take us back to a time when we were legally oppressed. Saravino, in a statement, called the decline of family formation the greatest long-term threat to our national well-being and thanked the Post for generating buzz ahead of forthcoming policy announcements. We have been developing novel policy ideas to address the family crisis with internal experts and external partners to do what we do best, generate and implement effective principled solutions to seemingly intractable societal problems, Saravino said. Where others say nothing can be done to restore the American family, we're determined to find the way. In a speech Tuesday, Roberts encouraged fellow conservatives to live out the values of marriage and larger families. A movement that seeks to save this nation and restore the family must itself be composed of men and women whose private lives are not a contradiction, but a confirmation of their public witness, Roberts said at the National Conservative Conference. He added later, we cannot just praise marriage from a podium. We must enter into it, embrace its commitments, and remain faithful through its trials. We cannot merely lament the falling birth rate. We must welcome children into our homes and give them the love and discipline they need to grow into virtuous citizens. We cannot merely shake our heads at the falling marriage rates. We must be hospitable and bring together people in our homes just as the founding generation did. The Heritage Policy paper has raised alarm within parts of the institution. One person familiar with the paper, speaking on the condition of anonymity to discuss private talks, likened it to eugenics. Another told the Post that policies amounted to social engineering that would reverse half a century of progress toward gender equality. That paper is not a compromise between limited government and folks and big government folks, said the person who also spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss the non-public paper. It is an outright steamrolling of the limited government folks. Going back 50 years, the person added, I wouldn't want to go back 50 years. In other corners at the think tank, two of the people said, the paper represents part of a years-long discussion among conservatives over how to cement Republicans' place as the party of family values, a movement that began with the rise of evangelical conservatism and carried through the Reagan administration and Baptist minister Jerry Falwell Sr.'s moral majority campaign. The proposals, those people said, show an effort from heritage leaders to put forward policies that would make raising a healthy, prosperous family achievable for couples at all income levels and various backgrounds. Part of the executive summary mirror Roberts' introduction to Project 2025 titled A Promise to America. Roberts wrote that obvious and longstanding policy goals would support family creation, such as changes to the tax code and cuts to social benefit programs like anti-poverty food assistance. But we must go further, Roberts wrote. It's time for policymakers to elevate family authority, formation, and cohesion as their top priority and even use government power, including through the tax code, to restore the American family. Heritage's new paper aims to change the popular perception of marriage and parenthood, lamenting that when children are asked what they want to be when they grow up, they are far more likely to say astronaut than husband, wife, mom, or dad. The number of children born per woman, the paper said, has ebbed and flowed through the generations, but hit a record low in 2024, which will have severe consequences on the United States workforce, culture, and financial stability. The paper does not cite a source for that information and includes only one footnote. It attributes a pair of statistics on marriage rates to a study conducted by the Institute for Family Studies, a right-leaning research and advocacy group that seeks to strengthen marriage and family life and advance the welfare of children through research and public education. Heritage awarded the Institute a $50,000 Innovation Prize for Ethics and Public Policy in 2024. Heritage's executive summary includes 2 additional footnotes, one for a statement about couples opting to marry at comparatively older ages, and another about the ill effects of singlehood and serial cohabitation as marriage alternatives. Both are labeled TK, publishing jargon for to come. We talked about all of this when we were talking about and sounding the alarm on Project 2025. The only valid families are between heterosexual couples, a man and a woman, and they need to have a woman that is staying home. They are about to, or they want to continue to strip social safety nets. So that's going to impact families right now that are already poor. They want to strip Head Start. That's going to impact working mothers that are working right now. It's way too expensive. They want to throw more people into poverty. The people that, gay MAGA, black MAGA, people that have kids but didn't get married, those people were still MAGA as well. This is about to impact so many people, and they were cheering this on and not listening to us when we were talking about this and sounding the alarm. They want to push us into a theocracy. They want to roll back all of the rights that feminists won for us. They don't want women to have choices, and they want to do this through tax codes and legislation. That is where we are right now. For the people that were acting like this couldn't happen, we've already lived through this. We've already lived through coverture laws. We've already lived through tax codes that impact people like this. I don't know what to say, but this is where we are right now. And they are about to try to get Donald Trump to sign some executive orders. And we already know that he is a mush brain and he just likes to sign executive orders. So we'll see if they get this on his desk and get him to sign it. But so far, he's just been signing the hell out of all kind of stuff. So it very well could happen. Yay. Let me know what you think about all this. Join the conversation, like, comment, and share.